Hi, welcome back guys, it's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. Just recently done a review video of the new Ping G410 LST Driver and had some really good results. So that got me thinking. I'm currently gaming the G400 LST, so this video I'm going to put these head to head and see potentially if G410 can replace my G400. Okay, so going to start off with my gamer, which is the G400 LST. Really enjoy this driver. It's been in the bag for a while now, and I feel like I get some good consistent results with this, and I feel really confident with it as well. So that's a big factor that's got to out to sort of shift this out of my bag is the confidence and the way I feel about the club as I put it down by the golf ball and what I feel like it's going to do. We see G410 come out and there's some slight little changes in there. Obviously we've got adjustable weight in the back section there. Obviously we've still got neck sleeve, but working a little bit differently. These are both with the Tour 65 in an X-Flex, both mid-size grips. This G400 is set at 8.5. The G410 is at 9. That's the only slight difference, is half a degree, just because they've changed the lofts in the newer model to what they did in the G410. So I'm going to start off with mine, G410 LST, hit about shots, and then we'll work the G410 into it. Okay, good strike for that opening tee shot, fractionally up that right hand side, but not by much. And that's a nice little opener there at 307. So really going to be interested to see if I squeeze any more out of it. Through our fittings here at the Academy, the 410 has proved massively popular. We've seen some really good results and some really good fittings with that adjustable weight and also that flat lie setting. Again, good strike. Very similar line, just a fraction further to the right there. So the big thing I'm going to be looking at here also is my dispersion, because again, I feel my drive is probably one of the more weaker areas of my particular game. So if I can get my dispersion under control, get that ball in play off the tee on the golf course, then my irons are pretty good from there. So I tend to score pretty well. If my drive is off, it's, you know, I rack up a little bit more of a score. Yeah, nice shot, really like that flight, love the feel of it, the sound of it I really enjoy. Just edging over that 300 mark there. Okay, going to hit a few more shots and then we'll move into that G410. Okay, that's a nice sort of finishing strike there. Again, just moving fractionally up that right hand side, but not massively, and just touching up to that 300 mark. So nice. Again, I enjoy using that. I've got a lot of confidence with it. I feel really comfortable with it. I like the look, I like the acoustics, pretty much like the numbers it provides. But can that G410, like what Ping is saying, give me better numbers than the G400? Let's jump into the 410. Right, so G410 LST, very impressed with this in my initial review video, and I'm really, again, as I said before, I'm really excited to see how this stacks up again. So some decent numbers there. We'll look at those a little bit more detail at the end, but felt some decent numbers there with that G400, so really interested to see if this is any different. Shaft's exactly the same, so Tour 65X, standard grip, mid-size grip, same length as what I had in mine. Now the look of it is slightly different. Obviously we lose that look of the Dragonfly. Obviously that's now hidden under the crown, so we don't see that pattern anymore on the head, which is that a good thing or a bad thing? I didn't mind the Dragonfly, to be honest. It was a bit of a busier head in the G400, but nothing that I didn't like, obviously. I think this will probably suit more golfers because they might not want to see that busy head. We still obviously see the turbulators on the top, so there's still a bit happening on the top of this club head. But initial look, it does look a fraction smaller. It's 450cc, and it does look a tiny bit more compact from that front to the back, but literally a tiny bit. So it's not massive a difference of shape in a way. Okay, that felt pretty solid. Yeah, I just lost that up the right a bit there. So 295. Again, good solid hit. Just slightly up the right, better than that last one, but that was a good hit there. Wow, that's just sailed 312. I can see that on the flight. It was a little bit more forward. It looked to be a little bit more lower spin, and I'm guessing this is going to be the difference here. I can't imagine there's going to be massive jumps of ball speed. Obviously, my strike will dictate that, but I struck my G400 pretty well there. I can't see there's going to be massive jump in ball speed, but if that spins lower, that's where I can sneak that, you know, those 10 to 15 yards more out of it. But again, distance is nice. It's the cherry on the top in the way I would always think of it. It's more that dispersion that is actually the key. Get that consistent flight. Oh, it feels really good. It just feels a little bit faster off the face. It's probably not really, but it just feels it. Yeah, that's just getting over that 301 mark, so not as long as the other one obviously, but still a very good hit and accurate. It's giving me similar sort of ball flight. So just get my G400 back in here and just putting these side by side to sort of look at. And again, that shape of the head, actually, when I come to put them side by side, the G400 looks to be a little bit more compact from front to the back, even though I sort of mentioned that the G410 was. In fact, I don't know, the different angles I put it at, it's very difficult to sort of see, to be fair. It looks quite similar in all honesty. As soon as I put it in a different position, it looks the other way around. So just a little bit more of a maybe illusion more than anything. But obviously the head just not quite as busy as G400. They both sit very sort of square, which I like. I don't like anything pointing left, and typically, you know, the better player wouldn't like to see anything that sits shut, which these don't, which is good. Oh, that's a little bit heely. The flight is superb. Accuracy wise, fantastic. It's going to drop off that. Yeah, there you go. So 292, not a huge drop off, but there's my strike. But again, you know, I can give up 15 yards. If that miss hit I've struck is keeping me on the fairway, you know you've not quite middled it, but I tell you what, it's on the short stuff, isn't it? So more than happy with that. So many of you may know I've got a speeder in my G400, which I've took out and I've put the tour in just to keep this test as equal as we possibly can. I can't put the speeder in this G410 head because the neck is slightly different now, so those G400 neck adapters now don't fit in the 410. That's probably the only downside. So if you've got a shaft that you had G400, love it, you're going to have to get the adapter switched over into the 410 adapter, otherwise it won't sort of fit, unfortunately. So that's the reason why I've put the tours in, so I've got the exact same shaft. And to be fair, I do like this shaft. Oh, that feels awesome. It's a very positive crack to it. Yeah, there we go. 310. Amazing. Feels really, really good. Just got that set in a neutral 9-degree neutral weight setting. Not done anything there. We've got loads of adjustability to back this up if I need it. I generally don't feel like I need that particular sort of backup. Okay, so let's get one more hit, and then we're going to look at some numbers. Really quite excited to see these numbers, see if there's any difference between these two clubs. Oh, it's a little bit heel again. Flight's really nice, to be honest. It's interesting when I hit that heely one, it's not wild, but I do take that little hit of distance, 294. I think the last heel one I hit was 292. So we can see how that just drops off. But again, I'm on the fairway, so it doesn't worry me too much at all there. So forgiveness wise, possibly, I'm Ping G410 saying that this is 3% more MOI than the G400. Doesn't sound a lot, but I tell you what, I'll take 3% if it helps me a little bit. Okay, let's look at those numbers and see the difference, if there is any, between that G410 and the G400 in the LSTs. Right, okay, so let's look at these numbers. Really excited to see so G400 at the top, G410 on the bottom. So ball speed, 163 against 163.9, virtually identical. A smidge more on average over the 6 shots, 0.9 of a mile an hour more G410. Not a lot at all. I mean, again, strike can just change that around the other direction. Launching pretty much identical around that sort of 10.5 degree mark. Spin number pretty identical. Just got these spin a little bit more than I did in my review video. So again, the club hasn't changed in any way, shape or form. Clearly my strike is just moving those slightly. Just got a couple of Healy ones there, which was that one that spun at 2685, and then the last one was a Healy one, you see 2861. I know that will just jump my numbers up a little bit more when you hit that slight heel, slight low in the club face. The better strikes you can see at 2198, which is more what I've got consistently in my review video. Again, I was striking that really good in that video, and I got them consistently around that number, so that's where the average can change by about, I think it's about 400 revs less with the average in my review video, taking away a couple of like overdraws a hit. So very sort of similar numbers. Again, my strike's just changing that. So look, peak height, see just a touch lower with the G410, maybe just that slight little bit low spin, touch low in the launch. You see it gives me 2 yards low on the flight. Again, it's very, very similar, isn't it? Identical carry distance to 278 and squeezing a couple yards out on run out. But again, we can't control run out, we can't control where it lands on. That could just switch around quicker than anything else. So slight improvements there on average. We could test that a little bit more. Could see a little bit more. It could even flip back the other way. So not a great deal in it. Right guys, so there we go. There's G400 against G410, both LST models. Really interesting one for me there, and not a massive amount in it in terms of the numbers. Very, very close indeed. G410 on that particular test through 6 shots, literally by a hair, pipping it. So I would have to maybe delve into a little bit deeper. If I had the numbers that I got in my review video, which again is through my strike change, it would have been quite considerably different to that G410. Probably enough to warrant me to swap there and then. Having said that, if I got the identical strikes to the G400, that could be a little bit closer. You know, we could keep going on for ages on this. So I think what I'm going to need to do here is just test over a little bit more detail, a little bit more shots in a way, and then make a decision before maybe this goes in my bag. But it feels as good as the G400. I feel really confident with it, which is great. So I could quite easily switch into it, but I don't want to just switch for the sake of switching just because it's a newer model. It's not always like that, is it? So I just need to test a little bit more, and maybe over more multiple shots, I might get a little bit tight dispersion, a little bit more distance. I don't know, but that's for me to go and sort of test. Let me know in the comments below. Have you got G400 LSTs? Is G410 something you could jump into? Probably the biggest difference there, which I didn't really need in this particular video, is the adjustability. If you need some of that help with that adjustability of the weight, that flat lie setting, maybe that little bit leeway in the loft, then G410 offers that against the G400. So that might be worth you making that switch. That you could see some bigger differences than what I've sort of seen there. So again, it highlights the importance if you go and get fit with a good fitter, loads of different shaft options again, use those neck settings, get measured, compare it to yours, then you can make a bit of a better decision on terms of purchase or not. Okay, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. So as always, if you haven't subscribed, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell icon to get notifications of any future videos. Follow up on the social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter. The handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.